tomorrow. Check this out.
All right, and this is a Fox News alert. Trump's nominee for Attorney General Pam Bondi was just confirmed by a vote of 54 to 46. Joining me now, Chris Bedford, author of Beltway Brief. Chris, the lone Democrat to vote for Bondi was Senator Fetterman of Pennsylvania. It's frankly despicable that more Democrats didn't vote for her. She's eminently qualified for this job, which once again shows you that this is about politics with the minority party right now.
It is. And I actually wrote a Beltway Brief newsletter about this on Monday, whereas you compare to Biden's picks, throughout all of his cabinet picks up through this week of February 2021, only 2 Republicans voted against all of them. There's Senator Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, neither of whom were ranking members at the time or committee chairs at the time. Now, if you look at it, there are a dozen Democrats, including ranking members and powerful Democrats who pretend to ask serious questions of nominees, who have voted against every single one of Donald Trump's nominees. They don't care about him having a cabinet. Right now, they're talking about holding up nominations to the State Department so that money can go to foreign countries. We are dealing with an extremely obstructionist party.
And that's pretty much been the story for most of Trump's cabinet nominees. Now, there are a handful of Democrats who pretend to ask serious questions, but we know for a fact that they're already deciding to vote no, so this is really all nothing more than a dog and pony show. Now, Pam Bondi has said that she will be upholding the independence of the Department of Justice. This means that she's going to follow policies that restrict communications with the White House, because that in and of itself would raise suspicion when it comes to the Justice Department being weaponized against critics, or in the case of the previous administration, straight up targeting attacks on political rivals. Now, on that note, guys, let's talk about Elon Musk and his battle against wasteful government spending. Democrats are now calling to subpoena him to answer questions about cutting budgets within the government. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. If Democrats continue to push back on investigations into where taxpayer dollars are going, they're probably gonna have the worst 4 years in political history.
Democrats are trying to grapple with this new phenomenon of Elon Musk and how they're going to respond to it. You saw that Democratic effort of trying to subpoena him, which Democrats knew would be unsuccessful because Republicans control that committee. But it's just another element of things that they're trying to do to get some handle on what exactly Elon Musk is doing with his Doge effort to the federal government, that very public effort to gut, if not entirely do away with USAID, the U.S. government aid agency for international aid. What sources tell us is a similar effort to take aim at the Department of Education. And also what sources tell us is a new effort to take aim at NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and put that into potentially some other federal agency. All of it to say Democrats are trying to get a handle on A, what exactly Elon Musk is trying to do, and B, try to stop it in its tracks.
It's not surprising to hear Democrats that want to continue frivolous spending, right? Or at least it's not surprising to me. And I want you guys to be mindful of this. Elon Musk is doing all of this out in the open. He's not hiding behind closed doors. USAID, for example, just got exposed again because it's reported that they spent millions to send Hollywood A-listers to Ukraine. This is coming from E! News, a report that celebrities claim are lies that's coming from Russian media.
USAID sponsored American celebrity visits to Ukraine after Russia's full-scale invasion began. Angelina Jolie, $20 million. Sean Penn, $5 million. Jean-Claude Van Damme, $1.5 million. Orlando Bloom, $8 million. Ben Stiller, $4 million. This was done to increase Zelensky's popularity among foreign audiences, particularly in the United States. The involvement of celebrities made it easier to coordinate funding programs for Ukraine during the conflict.
Now, guys, take all this with a grain of salt because we're going to have to wait on Elon Musk to confirm these payments. Ben Stiller, on his end, says that these are lies and that it's all coming from Russian media. But here's some of the spending from USAID that the White House has confirmed through White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. Check this out.
And I would just say a strong message to Democrats who are out there pretending to be outraged about the long list of crap that this administration is cutting, federal waste and funding, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, $20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and I'm happy to provide this list to every single one of you. Democrats are outraged that the American people want to be They want their taxpayers going to good uses, not stuff like this. But then they're very quiet about the fact that there are still North Carolinians and people in California who have lost everything. And in the last 4 years, this federal government did nothing to help them.
It's been the game plan for the Democratic Party for the longest time. They hold themselves to very little scrutiny while they criticize President Trump and the Republican Party at every turn. Now, at some point, it's going to have to end, which brings me to Senator Mitch McConnell and why term limits make so much sense.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell has fallen again, seen in a wheelchair just hours later.
Yeah, the longtime Senate leader fell down the steps in the Capitol building and was helped up by fellow senators. Now, McConnell walked to lunch after the fall and stayed for the hour-and-a-half-long GOP event during which senators described him as being an engaged participant. Now, after lunch, McConnell was escorted out by a swath of staffers, at least one of whom he appeared to be clutching for support. In the hours since, there have been reports of a second fall, but ABC News has not been able to independently confirm that.
In December, McConnell fell and sprained his wrist. He was seen with a bandage under his eye and his arm wrapped up. Well, today, McConnell's spokesperson said the senator is fine and the lingering effects of polio in his left leg will not disrupt his regular schedule of work.
This just in from the Capitol, Congressman Al Green announcing on the House floor he is bringing articles of impeachment against President Trump after Trump suggested the U.S. should take over Gaza.
Ethnic cleansing in Gaza is not a joke, especially when it emanates from the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world, when he has the ability to perfect what he says.
The Department of Justice is in for a shakeup with newly confirmed Attorney General Pam Bondi. Calls for term limits grow louder as Senator Mitch McConnell takes another tumble. Liberals are unhappy with Elon Musk's plans to cut government spending, which has them pushing for his subpoena. And Democrats didn't even wait an entire month before bringing up President Trump and a possible impeachment. Now, guys, we got a lot going on in today's video, so appreciate y'all hitting the like button. Thank you so much for sharing this video and subscribing. Let's go ahead and get started with Congressman Al Green. Now, Al Green initiated President Trump's first impeachment back in 2017, if you guys remember. And in his first term, he was impeached twice, although he was acquitted in both instances, which just kind of shows that these officials suffer from Trump derangement syndrome more than anything else. But here's what Al Green had to say about it.
And I rise today, Mr. Speaker, with a to whom it may concern message. To whom it may concern, ethnic cleansing in Gaza is not a joke, especially when it emanates from the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world, when he has the ability to perfect what he says. Ethnic cleansing in Gaza is no joke, and the Prime Minister of Israel should be ashamed, knowing the history of his people, to stand there and allow such things to be said. Ethnic cleansing has been a crime against humanity. And I stand here today in the well to denounce what was said, to denounce what the president said, to denounce the complicity of the Prime Minister of Israel, and to remind people that Dr. King was right. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And injustice in Gaza is a threat to justice in the United States of America. I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass-up movement, not a top-down. The people have got to move forward. The people have to demand it. And when the people demand it, it will be done. I did it before. I laid the foundation for impeachment, and it was done. Nobody knows more about it than I. And I know that it's time for us to lay the foundation again. On some issues, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. On this issue, I stand alone, but I stand for justice.
It's really hard to take this seriously when we're talking about dastardly deeds in 2025, right? Now, you gotta wonder, where was all of this when the country was being invaded by illegal immigrants in the past 4 years, right? Americans were dying as criminals were being let in through the borders unvetted. The Biden-Harris administration even used planes to fly in more than 1 million illegal aliens into the United States. But of course, that's okay because it's being done by a Democrat, right? And of course, his colleagues within the Democratic Party are all for it. Now, here's what Congressman Jamie Raskin had to say about it. Check this out.
How many Republicans do we need to impeach him, and who are the most likely that will switch?
Well, right now it's 218 to 215, so if you can find me 2 Republicans, I'll go to work tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, this is obviously political, right? And it's meant to show their supporters that they're doing their job of fighting against President Trump for the next 4 years.
Democrats agree that Musk is a problem, but listen to them today, and they have a piñata in search of a stick.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the Senate! We are at war!
We will win! We will win! We won't rest! We won't rest!
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need a real leader. Okay, they need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party, and they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks. And Elon Musk, I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
2025.
We knew it.
Just talked about.
We knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done, from the young vote to tech to a million other things. So Democrats needed to have a plan, and it may be too late.
Yeah, Bakari, are you fired up after?
I'm fired up and ready to go. Can't you see it in my face?
And to be clear, the intended goal of DOGE is to cut wasteful spending. Now, these Democrats are saying that Elon Musk shouldn't have his hands on taxpayer money, but that's a fallacy in and of itself because he's not touching the taxpayer money anyway. He's basically just taking a look. He's got like read-only access. He's just auditing where our money goes. He's not taking or touching the money, which explains their borderline violent narrative, using terms like "we are at war" and that they're going to be bringing the fire. Like, what's up with these people, right? I really hope that all Democrats don't think like these lunatics. This is the same rhetoric that they've been using against President Trump for years. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she put these liberals in their place by stating a very simple fact. Watch.
Are any officials here preparing to fight Democratic lawmakers in the streets?
Absolutely not.
So
And thanks for the question.
Some elected Democrats are so steamed about DOGE. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver says we are at war. Ilhan Omar says we might actually see somebody get killed. And Chris Van Hollen says we have to fight this in the Congress. We have to fight this in the streets. So what now?
And may I just point out, if you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts of this federal government and ensure it's accountable to American taxpayers. That's all that is happening here, and for Democrat officials to incite violence and encourage Americans to take to the streets is incredibly alarming, and they should be held accountable for that rhetoric.
It sounds like something that they're most concerned about is DOGE engineers with access to Treasury systems. Can you clarify, do the DOGE engineers have read-only access in these systems, so they are not allowed to write new code?
So Doge doesn't have access to our money. But who makes legislation that actually moves this money around? That's right, the same people who are out there protesting against Elon Musk. They decide where our money goes. Now, this outburst of just plain desperation, it's not doing very well. In fact, even Democrats are now turned off by what guys like Chuck Schumer are currently doing. Former Democratic Representative Tim Ryan, he went on X to say this: "I just don't even know what to say anymore when I see this kind of stuff. Is it Saturday Night Live or real life? Does anyone really think that this is the future of the country? This is the only alternative to Trump's America? This is so depressing." And to be fair to Ryan, this is what he was talking about.
I'm going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win.